Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. All right, so today you're going to need a couple of blocks. Just have them nearby. So if you sit on the ground and your thighs are really high, that means your hips are tight and you need to sit on something. So you have to have something under your sit bones to sit up on. It can be a block or a blanket or something. All right, so have them nearby. So we hold a lot of tension in our hips. We hold a lot of emotionality in our hips. We tighten them up and we think that that's going to gird us from the world, but it really doesn't. And recently I learned a very interesting technique to check in with your body to notice if you're tightening things up, because a tight muscle is more likely to tear or break than a released muscle, right? So there's a coach, a cross-country coach that coaches some kids I know. And he's always telling the kids to relax when you run. And they tend to be tight. So he gave them little bags of chips, of potato chips. And at the end of the run, those chips better be just as good as the way they were when you started. Because if you go to crush the chips, you know you're tightening up. So now I use the expression, are you crunching the chips? Today, I want you to think about if you're holding something, are you crunching the chips? Can you release those muscles and get those chips to be just the way they started? So close your eyes and come to your breath. Notice if you're feeling any tightness in your hips to start with. Now, some of it is congenital, some of it is the way we are, and some of it is what we're holding. See what you can do to release that tension in your hips. Then sit up really tall, lengthening the sides of your body, rolling your shoulder blades down your back. Lift your heart and your chest. And begin in this space to take a big full breath, so bright that you can feel the back of your ribs expand, the sides of your ribs expand. And then slowly exhale, really slowly. There's no rush. You don't have to hurry. And if you just stay here with this breath, the whole practice, this will also release your hips. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose. And again, ask yourself throughout the practice, are you crushing the chips? Take another breath or two here. Maybe with a little smile on your lips, even if you're not feeling it. Because it does affect your body when your lips curl up. And then slowly open your eyes. Inhale and circle your arms all the way up. Interlace your fingers, flip your palms up. Now, again, we tend to want to crush it with our arms, keeping the arms long. This is crushing the chips. I want you to soften your elbows and take your forearms back. Slide your shoulders down your back so there's no shrugging your shoulders. Lifting your heart. Take a breath here, making sure your spine is nice and long. Now imagine your hands are stuck and you're trying to pull them apart. Pull them apart so you can feel it down the shoulder blades, right into your rib cage, your core. Big full breath. Yeah. And then release your hands, take your elbows behind you so that your elbows want to squeeze behind you. And you're going to do that a few more times. You're going to take a big inhale, setting it up, softening, releasing any tension you feel in your body, but finding a little edge, and then exhale your elbows behind you. Last time, inhale. Take a breath or two here, whatever your breath length is. And then all the way back. Yeah. Take your right hand to the earth and reach all the way over to the right. And then inhale back to center. Exhale. So we're going to be focusing more on our hips than our upper body, but we still have to get our shoulders unglued from all the stuff we put into them. Exhale and inhale. So as I was telling Linda, I'm planning a trip to one country, and I'm doing it with this tour group. And they have me flying out to come home from another country, which will be, I would say, impossible unless I become a city, become two places at once. And I felt myself crunching the chips. It'll be okay, right? Exhale, inhale, and all the way back to center. Noticing how your left shoulder is lifted. Take a breath. Then take your left hand to the earth and reach your right arm all the way over. And inhale to center, and even beyond, squeezing your right waist. Exhale and inhale. Can you hear your breath? Closing off your throat so you can really hear it. And exhale. Inhale. And take two more, just like that, moving with the breath, getting into the habit of not rushing, just moving with the breath, thinking about it. What do you need and how you're going to get it, right? And make your way to center, sitting up tall. Again, your shoulder blades are down your back. Inhale and circle your arms up. Exhale, twist to your right, stay nice and tall, looking over your right shoulder. Inhale back to center and twist to your left, moving our spine through all the directions. Make sure everything starts to get nice and loose. Inhale to the center and exhale to twist. Get that little extra by grabbing your knee. I'm going to take one more to the left. Inhale and exhale. And all the way to center. Now you're going to take your feet wide in front of you. We've done this many times before. And you're simply going to drop your knees to the right and just see where you get. Now, if your hips are a little bit tight, you might have to lean back, and that's fine. Or you can come up a little bit more perpendicular. That's fine too. Inhale back to center and the other way. So I'm just going to go right and left to start with. You can keep your hands behind you and just reach, bending both knees and keeping your feet pretty wide. Take one more right and one more left. Yep. Yeah. Now all the way back to my right. I'm going back to the right, and now I'm going to twist to the right and release your heart towards your thigh bone. Now this is a variation of pigeon. So if those of you who don't do a classic pigeon, this is where you can come. And you release your heart towards the earth, getting a nice stretch in your low back, because this also is for your low back. And breathe into it, the places you feel it. Notice if you're tense anywhere, if you can let go of any tension. Inhale back to center, and let's just change sides. Knees over to the left, twist, and release. Find a little pulse here. You're going to exhale into it, so you get a nice stretch in your low back. Inhale out of it. Exhale into it. Good. Inhale out of it. And exhale into it, getting a nice release. And inhale all the way back to center. Take your feet toward each other and come to line all the way onto your back. So you're going to roll the top of the pelvis back to come onto the earth. Now I want you to extend your legs nice and long towards the sky.
Notice if you have a tendency to really reach and they have to be long and strong, but you're hyperextending your knees. This is crunching the chips here. I want you to soften your knees so you feel a release in the hips so that we can get into the fascia here. And then you're going to widen your legs as wide as they'll go. You're going to bend your knees towards your chest on an inhale, and then exhale with a flexed ankle. You're going to reach your heels as wide as they'll go. You should start to feel it in your hips and adductors. Inhale in. Exhale, flex your ankles, reach with the heels as if your heels want to aim first. Inhale and exhale. Oh yeah. Inhale and exhale. Take two more and exhale. One more. Commit yourself to every movement, every present, feeling everything. Now with your legs long and noticing that there's a little tiny softness in your knees, I want you to imagine you're pressing your shins, your knees toward each other. So you're going to resist, resist, resist. Your legs are reaching out, but I'm pressing my legs toward each other as if I'm lifting something heavy. I feel it in my arms, my core, my outer hips. And then inhale, open up all the way. Exhale, keep that flexion in your ankle as you press against the shins. The shins resist out. Oh yes, you feel it in your arms, your outer hips. Good. And then inhale. Exhale, press into it, even getting into your belly, your pelvic floor. You know, I'm really into that. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Take a few more here. Inhale and exhale. And inhale. So we're getting the fascia first. That's that covering of the muscles. And then we're going to get deeper into the muscles. And then exhale, press, 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 press all the way in. And release. Draw your knees towards your chest. And take a few knee circles here. This is a hip release. Good. But we're not done. Now you're going to take your legs wide once again. And this time you're going to take your hands inside your inner thighs. You can even wrap your hands around your thigh muscles, thigh bones. And you're going to do the opposite. Now you're going to press, press, press it in and resist your hands out. So your thigh bones are lifting your hands, but you're resisting. You can feel it in your arms. And then release. Inhale. Exhale, press the legs in and push them out with your hands. And then release. Exhale, exhale, exhale. You should be feeling lots of love here. Inhale. Exhale, exhale, exhale. And then inhale. Let's take a few more. Inhale, exhale. Press it, press it, press it. And inhale. So see if you can keep your thigh bones parallel, your toes all aiming in the same direction, which is towards your head. We're going to take two more. Exhale, exhale, because it's so much fun. Inhale. Last one. Exhale, 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 exhale. Oh, yeah. And release. Oh, I hope you feel that. Okay. Now I want you to just circle your hips. We're going to do a lot of that later too. And then circle your hips the other way so your knees stay together. Good. Now I want you to cross your right ankle over your left thigh. So this is going to look a lot like pigeon. Okay? But you're going to take the top of your pelvis back, and you can even lift your chest a little bit to get into your core if you like. You're going to lift then your left leg and take your hands to your left thigh bone, behind your left thigh. Good. So as you come closer, you're going to take your knee in towards your chest. And the right knee is going to come in, and you're just going to kind of press the right knee away from you. So you can even take your right hand to your right inner thigh too, if you want to do that, and just press the right thigh bone away from you. Inhale the right knee in, and then exhale, press the right thigh bone away from you. Now you want to be sure not only that you're breathing, but that it's coming from the hip. You're not messing around with your knee. Some of the stuff looks like it's coming from the knee, but it's coming from your hip all the way out. Now let's just get this. Oh, should feel kind of good. And exhale. If you want to lift your chest, you can do that. And last one. And release. Oh yeah. We're going to go right to the other side. Yeah. Cross your left ankle and open it up. Lift. You can lift your chest. You can take your hands behind your right thigh bone, but you can also take your left hand to your left inner knee, and you're going to press the thigh bone out as it comes all the way back in. And press it out. And inhale. Exhale. I like to have my head on the ground here, but you can lift it if you want, getting a little bit more into the core. Exhale. Because I want to really focus on that hip. Inhale, knee in, exhale, press the knee out. It's coming from the hip. And a few more just like that. Last one. And release. Extend your legs nice and long, your arms all the way up over your head. Take a breath. Now slowly, you're going to take your arms up over your head towards your chest, and one vertebra at a time, you're going to come all the way up and start to fold forward just a bit. And then inhale all the way back. Really slow, one vertebra at a time, open it up. So I just want to make sure everything is nice and stretched out in our spines before we go on. Yeah. Your hips might be a little bit more amenable to a deeper fold than you thought. I'm going to take one more just like that. Good. Then draw your knees to your chest, give yourself a hug, coming all the way up. And make your way to table pose, hands and knees. So I'm just going to move back onto my mat as I come into cat and cow. So make yourself into table and into cat and cow. Exhale and inhale. And exhale. So now we're going to get into the muscular part of our hips because we warmed up these fascia. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exhale and inhale. Good. Exhale. Inhale. And then soften your heart and lift your belly. Now you're going to take your right leg back and you're going to tap behind you, but then you're going to tap out to the side and then tap back. Remember, hips. So exhale and exhale. Exhale, out to the side and back. Is your belly lifted? Is your pelvic floor engaged? So you can muscularly tone those muscles without feeling like it's an anxiety thing when you do it mindfully. So the belly's lifted, right? The pelvic floor is engaged. And imagine you're taking your right leg over a little ball and you're tapping to the side and to the back, and to the side, and to the back. Good. And it doesn't take long to feel a bit of heat here. See what your range of motion is. Good. And 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Good. Make your way to table. Just take some hip circles or some cows, whatever feels good. Checking in with your breath, checking in with any muscle toning that you are doing without doing it with anxiety or holding on to anything.
Then you're going to extend your right leg out to the right. But this time I want you to spin your right toes out to the right and bend your right knee out to the right. So your whole hip is at a 90-degree angle as you come all the way up. Yeah. And you're going to come into your right hip and come back to center. And exhale into it. Now, if you can keep your torso nice and long, you can take your arms out with your palms up and pull the elbows back. So we're going to get into the shoulders if you like. Inhale. But to tell you the truth, I'm really more interested in our hips today. So inhale and exhale and inhale. Ooh. So I want you to inhale here and exhale here. Just get into those hips. And 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. And all the way back to center. Make your way to table. And now I want you to come into a child pose. Knees wide, big toes together. Take your hips back and soften your heart towards the earth. And find your breath here. Take one more big full breath. Now we're going to do the same little series on the left. You're going to take your left leg back. Hip points are square, belly's lifted, heart soft, shoulder blades hug together. And you're going to tap to the left and back. Now you're lifting your leg over an imaginary something. Yeah. And you should feel your core and your pelvic floor. Yeah. Exhale. Exhale. You can exhale through your mouth here. It's a little bit more active. Good. And tap to the left and tap back. Yeah, we hold those emotions, those sad things. Oh, a lot of it in our hips and our shoulders. 6, 5, slowly. 4, 3, 2. Good, last one. Now you're going to extend your left leg directly out to the left. Spin your left toes out to the left. And then bend your left knee so it's about 90 degrees. And open yourself up. So your hips are what we call warrior 2 hips. They're open to the long edge of your mat. Your shoulder blades are down your back, your arms. You're going to roll your upper arm bones up, shoulder blades. And maybe you'll extend them up and pull them down. And inhale. Oh, keep that left hip open to the left. That's really my primary concern here. And notice if your left hip feels a little different than your right. Good. Exhale. Inhale. Good. Good. 4, 3, 2, last one. Good, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. And then back to center and back to table pose. Good. Now, with your heart soft, your belly back, the top of the pelvis tipped back, your belly engaged and your pelvic floor lifted,
You're going to start to lift your knees, take your hips back, and make your way into down dog. And start to walk your dog. Checking in with your breath, checking in for all the tight spaces. So our muscles are going to be tight in some areas just naturally, and some of it we can let go. And here we want to see, where can we let it go? Where are we just holding it from our emotions? Good. Inhale, lift your right leg up. You're going to bend your right knee like you're kicking your bum, and you're going to open your hip, taking the hip open and the shin back with a nice stretch. Good. Now extend your right leg back, squaring your hips, and now you're going to step your right foot forward. Good. And then you're going to lower your left knee to the earth. This is where you might want your blocks, under your hands. So you're going to flex your right ankle and take the right outer hip back. Then step into your right foot and come forward. Inhale. So I want you to be here for an extra breath or two. Just be here forward. Good. And then all the way back. Now, if you don't need blocks, don't use blocks. It's okay. You can inhale, come forward, and extend your arms up. But we're going to stay here for an extra breath or two. We're not going to rush. We're going to see if we're crunching the chips here. Right? And then back. Kind of a secret code. Are you crunching the chips? And then inhale forward. Oh, yeah. And back. And forward. And back. Now you're going to step into your right foot and make your way back into down dog. Now, if you have a hard time stepping, you're going to take your left leg, bending and opening. But if you have a hard time stepping your foot forward, you can take your hand on your blocks here in down dog. Just notice, okay? You can lift your left leg up, bend your left knee, open up your hip, get a huge stretch in the front of your left hip here, breathing into it, no rush. Good. Then extend your left leg back, square on your hips again. And then step your left foot forward, and notice if it's easier for you to do that. Good. And then lower your right knee to the earth. Inhale, all the way up, so you can circle your arms up. But then we're going to extend your left leg forward. You can use your blocks here. Take the left outer hip back. Really flex your left ankle, getting it all the way back to the back of your left leg. A stretch in your low back. Notice it and breathe. Good. Then step into your left foot. And for the first one, I'm going to keep my hands on my blocks and reach your heart forward. Get into it. Breathe into it. Using your blocks is not less than. It's just different than. All right. And all the way back, flexing your ankle. Inhale now. If you want to extend your arms up, feel free. And back. And forward. And back. Good. Take a few more. Really release yourself into it. Just get into it. If you stay a little longer, you'll see you'll get a little deeper. Find your breath, play in it. And we're just going to take a couple more. Last one. And back. Good. Now make your way back into table. I'm going to take my hands on my blocks. I want you to see what it feels like, and make your way into down dog with your hands pressed down in the blocks, not forward, but down. Good. Inhale, lift your right leg up behind you. Now you're going to step your right foot slightly wide of your right hand or your right block. Your right toes are slightly out. And you're going to lower your left knee to the earth. With your hands on your block, you're just going to reach your hips right and left. Now, if you don't want your blocks here, don't use your blocks here. If you like your blocks, use your blocks. And just feel it with your right toe slightly out. Good. And just move your hips side to side and breathe into it. Now you can tip your right thigh bone out down towards the earth and soften a little bit deeper into that hip. And breathe into it. Good. Now, step into your right foot so that your right knee is at 90 degrees, right toes are forward, and circle your arms all the way up. This is where you might want to block in your right hand. And you're going to take your right hand or your block to the side of your body and reach all the way over to the right. Yeah. Keep your right waist lifted, your right side of your body forward. Get a nice stretch here. Oh, yeah. You breathing? Yeah. Take another breath. And all the way back up to center. Woo! Take your hands back to the earth in front of you and right into down dog. Now again, your blocks can be under your hands here. We already established that, right? So come into your down dog and either have your blocks under your hands or not. I think it's fun. I like it. Okay. Now you're going to lift your left leg up behind you. Oh, yeah. Bend your left knee, open your left hip. Good. Now extend your left leg back. Then step your left foot just outside your left hand so your left toes are aiming out to the left. And you're going to lower your back right knee to the earth. Left toes are spun out to the left and wide of your left hand. So you can see your hands are together and your foot is outside. And you're just going to take some hip circles here. You're just going to move your hips right and left and right and left. Good. And just get into those beautiful hips. Let the steam out. It can be very emotional too. We hold a lot of emotions there too. So if you feel you need to cry or something, it's okay. It's okay. Side to side. Good. All right, last one. Then you're going to come up, stepping your left foot in front of you. You might want to take a block in your left hand. This is where I really like my block. And circle your arms up. Take your left block, your block in your left hand over to the left. And now you're going to reach to the left, making sure your left waist is forward. You're not tipped towards the earth or toward the sky. You're just sideways and you're reaching. So you're getting into the hips, the side body. You're breathing into it. And you're taking time to assess if there's anything tight there. It comes from our thoughts, right? Good. And then all the way up. Make your way back to down dog. Oh, yeah. And we're going to play with our hips. Inhale to plank. And exhale, soften your knees to come back to down dog. Inhale to plank. There's one more part of our hips we haven't gotten into. So you're going to lower your knees to the earth, and I'm going to come onto my left hip. So you can decide what you're going to do. I'm coming a day at the beach pose. My legs are nice and long. This is for the medius. And I'm going to lift and lower. Lift. Good. It seems so simple, doesn't it? Can you keep your belly lifted, belly engaged, pelvic floor lifted? And focus on your outer right hip. You can flex and point, point and flex, point. Right. So this gets into not only your outer hip, the peroneal muscles, right? Yeah. So you should feel the heat now in your outer hip. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, woo. Last one. Come on to lying on your back. I'm going to turn around because I'm going to go on my right side to the other side. Good. Now you're going to take your feet wide and draw your knees together. So your knees are kind of not knee, but your feet are wide. Your toes are slightly out. And you're going to lift your hips. Open up your knees and slowly lower your hips, but not land, taking your knees back together. And opening it up and close. And open and close. Right into those hips, those bum, your bum. It's all attached, the hips, the bum, right? The core, your low back. It all helps all that. Good. Make sure you're breathing at 8. Widen your knees and tap them together. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Now, I just want you to do a little pulses up and widen your knees. 8, 7, 6, 5. Good. 4. Should feel my hips through. 2. Last one. Hold it. And then lower all the way back to the earth. I don't want you to release it because I want you to come right onto your right hip, your right side, legs long. It can be slightly in front of you. And we're going to lift and lower and point and flex. Point. Good. Focusing on your outer hip. Yeah, that's a part of our hips too. So I have my top leg slightly forward of the bottom leg. Just want you to notice that. And that's kind of a nice thing too. Good. And 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Good. Last one. And now you're going to come onto your belly and into table and back into down dog. Okay, now we're going to take it off for a ride. Okay, make your way into dog. Lift your heels and lower and lift and lower. Put your heels up. Move with the breath. You can even close your eyes and feel that. Now you might want your hands on your blocks here because you're going to walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet. And when you lift your palms up, you get a little deeper into that forward fold and soften into it. Make sure your knees are not locked out. Make sure they're not long, but you don't want your knees locked out, and you'll feel the difference. And if you're not sure, notice if you need to just soften a little bit, letting go of the tension, and then circle your arms all the way up
And bring your palms together to your heart center and release. All right, we're going to do one flow here. Shins forward, bum back. Sit all the way back. As I adjust my clothes. Inhale, circle your arms up. Exhale, twist to the right. Get a nice twist here. Keep the left hip back. Take a breath. Good. Inhale back to center. And exhale to your left, keeping your right outer hip back. Yeah. Inhale back to center. Exhale, fold forward. Use my blocks. Inhale, look halfway up. Exhale, step back to plank. Getting your belly engaged, your knees are either up or down. And you're going to lower all the way onto the earth. Now, take your hands back, roll your shoulder blades down your back. I want you to lift your palms, slide your heart forward, press your pubic bone to the earth, and then lower. And then inhale, lift your palms. Exhale, lower. Last time, inhale, lift your palms, take your hands to the earth, make your way into a cobra or an up dog. Oh yeah. And right into down dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up behind you. Exhale, step your right foot forward. Come right into warrior one. All the way up. Right into a nice strong warrior one. Your right outer hip is back. Now you're going to bend your elbows. Keep your forearms, which is from your wrist to your elbow back. And you're going to tip from the top of the pelvis. Again, this is for the hips. And then open it up. That's for the shoulders. Exhale. Inhale. Notice if it's a little bit easier. Exhale. Because we started with the fascia and then got into the muscles. Make sure you're inhaling and you're exhaling. Music of your breath is the rhythm that you keep. Inhale, open it up, extend your arms nice and long, and right into warrior two. So you know how this works, okay? Lift your right heel up and see if you can release your right thigh bone a little deeper towards the earth. Then take your heel back to the earth, stay low. Take your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, lift your heart. Exhale, sweep your heart towards the right and reach your inner thigh bones back. So your hips go in the opposite direction of your chest. Getting a nice deep stretch here. Breathe into it. You might get a little shaken by now, which is good. Press your feet down to come all the way up. Soften both your knees, take your bum back, and make your way into a triangle. Oh yeah. Triangle pose. Exhale. Exhale into it. Inhale out. Oh yeah. Nice pose here. No? Exhale your left hand to the earth. Step back to plank. You know what to do with your knees. Lower. Make sure your hands are where they should be. Your shoulder blades are down your back to make your way into a beautiful cobra or up dog. And right back into down dog. Breathing into it. Inhale, lift your left leg up behind you. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Inhale, right into warrior one, checking it out. Making sure your feet are grounded. Your hips are tall, right? Bending your elbows, shoulder blades down your back, as if your elbows are pressing down on a rusty track, right? And then exhale forward and inhale up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale.
Take a few more. Good. Take one more. Elbows back, extend your arms all the way up, stay deep. And then right into warrior two. Good. Come on to the tiptoes of your left foot, lifting your left shin, and you can release your left thigh bone a little deeper towards the earth. Yeah, check that out. Take your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, lift your heart. Exhale, again, sweep your heart towards the left and forward. Lift your arms up off your back and reach your inner thigh bones, roll them back. As your chest sweeps forward, you get a deep stretch here. Breathing right into it. Then press your feet down to come all the way back up. Soften both your knees, take your bum back. And make your way right into that triangle pose. Oh yeah. Lean back and exhale into it, lift out of it. Come all the way back up. Take your hands to your hips. Pivot your feet parallel. So parallel means all your toes are forward, and you're going to start to fold forward again from the top of the pelvis. Now notice your knees, your legs. Play with it to test if you're crunching the chips. Can you soften them a little bit? Can you lift the belly and the pelvic floor? And then see if you can come into a nice fold here. Inhale out of it, and then exhale a little bit deeper into it. So you're going to get a nice stretch in your low back. Now you're going to press the outer edges of your feet into the earth as much as the inner edges. So make sure your feet are super grounded. I want you to even lift and spread your toes, and then take your toes back to the earth. Now your feet are stuck, and I want you to imagine you're widening the mat with your feet. And you're going to get, again, into the outer hips. And I want you to just breathe into that, maybe getting a little deeper on the exhale. Keep your feet widening the mat. Widening the mat. Getting a little deeper in your hips. Good. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, soften your knees to take your hands to your hips. And then inhale with a nice long spine all the way up. Now we're going to do that one more time. Forward fold. This time, if you want, you can bind with your big toes. Your feet are stuck, and you're imagining now that your feet are trying to hug in, but they're stuck. You're going to coax your toes forward and your heels back, and you're going to get a nice stretch in all four corners of your hips. Breathe into it. You might get some shaking. You might get some emotionality out of this because it's very emotional to do this. But breathe into it, lifting your pelvic floor. Yeah. Good. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, take your hands to your hips. Inhale all the way back up. Now you're going to heel toe your feet a little closer so that your heels are in, your toes are out. And you're going to start to come into a yoga squat. Your yoga squat might look like this. You might be sitting on a chair. You might come onto your forearms. I do this every time. I don't want anyone doing anything dumb that doesn't feel right, but I want you to come into your edge. See what's left in your hips in terms of tension. Maybe you can press your elbows wide and hug the thigh bones in and feel the engagement of the pelvic floor. Close your eyes and breathe into this wonderful stretch for your low back, for your hips. In this place, we can plant positive thoughts, kindness,
compassion, empathy, all those feelings, all those thoughts that we have the power to create might not be our first go-to thought. It's our human nature. And guess what? All the way back to the mat. Extend your legs nice and long. Oh yeah. Good. I like to roll my inner thighs to the earth. Good. So now you're going to take your right hand to the outer right hip, outer right foot. You're going to lift your right leg up, bend your right knee. Ooh, so that your right knee is aiming just past behind your right armpit. And then bend forward and back down. And we're going to continue just like that. You're going to lift it and bend it and extend it and back down. Lift, bend, extend. Oh yeah, another nice stretch there. Two more. Inhale, deep breathing. Exhale. Inhale. And back down. Last one. Inhale. Oh, that should feel good, yeah. And all the way back up. Notice how that feels, sitting up tall. Notice if your right hip feels a little warmer than your left. It should feel pretty good. All right, the left side's going to be different. Mine is a little bit more flexy on the left. Let's see. You're going to lift it up. So if you can't grab your foot, what do? You grab your shin, right? You do that. Exhale. Inhale. Notice if there's a point in this pose, as we move through this little series, if there's a place where you have to hold the chips. Does your legs have to be super long? Do you have to go more forward than it feels really good? Can you just come to your edge without tensing up? Yeah, we're working on that. All right, last one. Inhale. Oh, exhale. Inhale. Oh yeah, last beautiful fold. Press your thigh bones down to come all the way up. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a hug. Oh yeah. I want to do one little thing more for our core before we finish up. You're going to tip back and you're simply going to reach right and left. So we're going to get into those transverse abdominals first, or you can punch the opposite arm, or you can keep your hands on the earth behind you, or you can keep your hands on your shins, just to give you a little bit more support if you need it. Because we're here for self-care, not to torture ourselves. And 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Oh yeah. And all the way back up, believe it or not. I want you to cross your right shin over your left, sitting up tall. And then start to fold forward, and you might not go far and you might go far. I don't know. You decide, and you're going to reach your arms forward, release your head, take a few breaths here. Good. One more big full breath. And then inhale all the way back up. Oh, yeah. Now you're going to take your opposite shin forward. For me, now it's going to be my left. Yeah. sitting up tall, knowing where I'm starting from with a big full inhale. And then you exhale into this lovely forward fold. So make sure we get a nice stretch in our back and hips. Take one more big full breath here. And all the way back up. And then take your feet to the earth. Round your back to come back to the earth. Draw your knees to your chest. Take your arms to T. I'm going to slide my bum to the left just a little bit and drop your knees to the right. Come, just get a nice twist here, rolling your ribs to the left. Reach your left hip away from your left shoulder. So there's lots of length on the left side of your spine. And breathe into it, really calm. Now really notice where you're holding on to anything and see if you can let go of that tension. You can, you're capable of it. You got to catch it first. It's like those thoughts. We have to identify them before we can change them, right? They're called vrittis. Inhale back to center. Take your hips to the right. You lift your knees. And you rock the other way, to the left in this case. And just roll your ribs to the right. Close your eyes and take a few big, full cleansing breaths. But these are still ujjayi, in through your nose and out through your nose. Good. Then take your arms, palms up beside you, walking your shoulder blades together. Come back to center as you lift your hips and kind of just shake, shake, shake them out. Take the top of the pelvis back so you can feel the top of your pelvis pressed to the earth. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth and release your legs nice and long. Lower your chin towards your chest just a bit. And notice if you're holding anything anywhere, just release any tension in your body and take rest. Start rolling your wrists and your ankles. Inhale, extend your arms up over your head. Exhale through your mouth. Draw your knees to your chest. Roll to your right side. Notice again how you're feeling. And then make your way to a seat on your mat, bringing your palms together to your heart center. Our lives bring us multiple opportunities to notice when we're holding the stress and how we're holding it in our bodies. And I want you to remember that we have the power to let it out of our bodies because it comes from our thoughts, and not to squeeze the chips. The light in me honors that light of you. Namaste. Guys, let me do the recording.
That was great, Shelley.